my videos might seem a little quick and stuff like that. My camera only takes 2.5 minutes, so I got to try to do these kind of quick. But when I started with my tow truck company, I had a ramp truck. But what you can do is you can have a truck and trailer. Because a buddy of mine, that's actually a couple of my buddies, after what I started, they started with trucks and trailers, junking cars. When I started, it was $40 a ton, and when they were doing it, it was up to like $130 a ton, which, when I was doing it, I was getting about $40 a car and stuff like that. Car weighs roughly 2 tons. A ton is 2,000 pounds. But like I said, there's other money to be made when junking and stuff like that. But when you're junking cars, what you do is you talk to other tow yards. You can buy from a tow yard, because what they do is a tow yard gets a car and it goes into storage, and they charge storage on it. When someone doesn't pay the storage fee and stuff like that, most of the time those tow yards will junk the car. You can buy those cars for the cost of scrap. Some tow yards, if you're not in a good friendship with them and stuff like that, they want the money for the impound fees. So I mean, a lot of those cars, some cars are smashed in accidents. You know, the car was running when it got smashed. It got in an accident. You know what I'm saying? So those are good for drivetrain products and stuff like that. If you can buy a car that's smashed in the front, another car that's smashed in the back, and make one car, that's a good deal. I did that a lot. Trucks are easier than cars to fix. Trucks don't have rear quarters, they have beds. Beds come off. 6 bolts, a bed comes off. So if you can find a truck with a smashed bed, you know, I used to do that when I was junking cars too. I'd drive around and I'd see one guy had F-150s in his yard and another guy had F-150s in his yard. I'd try to get both of them and try to fix F-150 to sell. Another thing you got to remember when you do this, on the bottom of your door you have to write "not for hire" on the bottom of your doors and stuff like that. You can letter it up, the name of a business that you want, something like that, but you got to put "not for hire" on it. That's just to protect yourself, because you're supposed to have to do towing and stuff like that. You're supposed to have a congruence license to charge the public. These are things that I learned along the way, because I just jumped in and bought a ramp truck and just started. I ran over to the office supply place and bought a bunch of those 500 cards for $20. Started passing them out. Later on, because nobody said anything to me, and I didn't know any better, later on I found out about the congruence license, that you needed that license to charge the public for tows. I didn't get into towing. I did tows now and then for people and stuff like that. There is money in towing. They do, when you insure your vehicle, your ramp truck, tow truck, or whatever like that, they have, it just left my head. It's like a liability insurance, cargo insurance it's called. Cargo insurance, whatever's on your truck, if it falls off, whatever's on the back, it's covered. So if a car falls off the back of your truck, you're covered if you're towing and stuff like that. And stuff happens. Like I said, I hired a driver. He rolled a car down a hill and tried to get it onto the back of the truck. That's crazy, but he did it, Buddies of mine had vehicles fall off the back of the trucks. A buddy of mine, his driver backed out of a driveway, couldn't see onto a main road, and cut a roof off of a car. Luckily, he sold that person the car, so all he had to do was replace the car. Another time, a buddy of mine, had his driver go to a house, and they had two identical vehicles in the yard. Well, the guy took the car without the plate on it and junked it. That wasn't the car he was supposed to junk. My buddy lucked out on that one too, because the junkyard replaced the car. We all paid for the car, so he lucked out on that one too. I had two women that got into a lover's quarrel. Two women were going out. They broke up. One of the women was seeing somebody else. The first woman had another girlfriend too, but a woman called me, said that she had a junk car. I had put a card at her house because she had a couple junk cars in her yard. She called me. She had me take those cars out of her yard, and she said, "Hey, I got another car at this address. Here's the address. Go over there. You can have that car too." So I went over there, and she pretended that she was talking on the phone with a woman that was at the other end at this address that I was going to, saying that it was okay for me to go pick the car up. Well, I went over there, I looked at the car, and it was a nice car, and even when she told me that I could junk the car, I was thinking about keeping the car. I can't remember what it was right now, but it was some kind of little two-door sports car or something like that. I went over there, I looked at the car, and I said, "Man, I'm going to fix this car up, you know. Well, I don't know what's wrong with it, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to fix this car up." And I went to the house. I knocked on the door, and I was leaving. Nobody answered the door, and I was going to leave without taking the car because I wanted to make sure somebody at that house told me it was okay to take that car. Luckily, I did. I got back in my truck, and I started to leave when somebody came out of the house, and they were on the phone. I stopped, I went back, and I talked to the woman. The woman was on the phone with the police because she thought I was there to take her car, and I was, but I wasn't going to take it without her permission. So you got to watch out for stuff like that when you're starting to junk cars also. I mean, there was a lot of other things and everything like that. I just wanted to give you kind of a heads up on some of the scenarios that can go down, and just keep yourself out of trouble. Put that nut for hire on your door. Put your phone number on your door. Get your business cards and pass them out. A lot of guys are buying cars around here for like $200-300. They advertise on Craigslist and stuff like that. And, you know, they're parting the cars out. They got a place where they can kind of junk cars and stuff like that. The newer cars that you get, you can sell them to the junkyards for